Hey, it's Gabe with Vitev. So the Waterdrop Tankless RO systems are gaining in popularity, and we know that because of the number of questions coming into our office from either current users or prospective buyers with the question of, can I remineralize the Waterdrop system with your Vitev REMINs? And they're asking that question even though Waterdrop does offer their own kind of mineral solution. It's called the MNR cartridge. Because when you open those up, which we've done in a video we'll link up above, and check out the ingredients used in that cartridge versus what we use from our suite of minerals and all the benefits they offer, it's really kind of night and day. So what we thought would be helpful both for you and for us, because we can stop answering the question in so much detail and just send you to this video, is to see or just show you how to connect a Vitev REMIN into that Waterdrop system. Okay, so the first thing to know is that we have not encountered, I don't think they're out there, a Waterdrop system that doesn't have 1/4 inch tubing like this. It may not be the red color, it's probably white, that runs from the Waterdrop system itself up to the faucet. And that's good because our REMIN has the exact same size fittings on each end to make it really easy just to splice the REMIN into it. So to do so, what you're going to need is a sharp knife, something like a box cutter, utility knife, razor blade. You can use scissors or maybe wire cutters. Just be careful not to mangle the end of the tube when you cut it. Grab that. You're going to need something to probably catch, if your system's currently being used anyway, to catch any residual water that comes out of the tubing. And you'll need something to help mount the clip that will come with your REMIN to just mount it inside of the cabinet under your sink, or if you're installing it in the basement wall, whatever. So you'll need a drill driver or screwdriver or something like that to put this against the wall. And once you have all that, what you're going to want to do is look at the tubing from the system to the faucet and find kind of where there's enough slack that you can mount a REMIN in that spot. And it's very important. The REMIN has to mount horizontally, just like this. You can't put it up vertically. We spend a lot of time getting the order of minerals correct so that it performs like we wanted it to. You don't have any issues with clogging and that kind of stuff. So in order to maximize and not have any issues, it's got to be horizontal. So think about that when you're looking for placement. But once you figure out where that's at, or where that's going to fit, then you'll just grab that clip that I showed, this 2.5 inch single-sided clip, and put it into the wall, or install it on the counters, or the counter, inside of the counter, the wall underneath your sink, wherever it's going to go. Get that connected, ready to go, and ready to accept the REMIN. And then cut the line. And just like I said, when you cut that tubing, just make sure you want to have a nice squared off cut. Nothing jagged, nothing at a 45. Make sure it's flush straight across from the tubing, okay? That's super important as well. So cut that tube where you want the REMIN to go. Allow any water that may drain out to do so, and then once that's done, grab the REMIN. And you'll notice there's a flow directional arrow on the REMIN, but there's also a kind of a distinguishable shape. The cap here that goes on at the very end that's welded onto the REMIN itself, that is the back or the bottom. So your water is going to flow into here and out of here. And when you look at that REMIN, you're going to see on the ends there are 2 stems that keep it airtight for storage and shipment and whatnot. You need to remove those stems. Super important here, don't just yank that stem out. These are the same kind of connections that the Waterdrop system has, and there's a jaw inside that has to be released so that you can pull this stem or tubing out. So to do so, you'll just put both fingers on the collar where that stem connects, push it towards the REMIN, and as you push it towards, you pull the stem out. Okay, really simple, really easy, quick connects. Do that for both ends. And then it's just a matter of grabbing that tubing that comes from your system into the back or the bottom of the REMIN and pushing it in here. And again, just like all the connections on your Waterdrop, you're going to feel a little resistance when you first push it in. Push it past that and it'll fully seat. And when it fully seats, you can't pull it back out. Now, don't yank incredibly hard, but you'll see it's firmly seated in there. Okay, so system to REMIN, and then the faucet, or the line that comes from your faucet, goes in this end. Once those are connected, snap it into the clip onto the wall, and you're good to go. I should have mentioned at the beginning, turn your water off, by the way, if you have that water running. But if it's connected well, turn the water back on, check each side for leaks. If you have no leaks, then you just turn the faucet back on and let it flush for a little bit. Okay, now that it's running, what you're going to notice, if you have the REMIN CA, which is the one I showed here, it's got the green label on it. This is our coral calcium, or it's more heavy on the coral calcium. So what you're going to see is a bit of a milky white water that comes out of that first. That's the coral dust and the powder. Our coral is really granulated, but there's still some residual powder and smaller fines that are in there that have to flush out first. So let that water run. May take a couple of minutes before it runs clear. Once it does, turn the faucet off, let it sit for a little bit, turn it back on, let it run clear. You're probably good at that point. Now you may see a little bit more milkiness, especially if the system sits all night, first thing in the morning, that sort of thing. But this is supplement grade calcium, so it's not a problem if you drink some of it. In fact, you could drink it right away, right out of the first use, and it'd be like taking a calcium supplement. But most people don't want to drink milky looking water. So you should be good at that point. If you go with the pH version, it's got a purple label on it, you're gonna see less of that milkiness right away. What you'll see is a bit of that. It'll be a little darker color because it's got a little bit more magnesium and some of our ceramics in there, but that'll flush a little faster. What you'll notice on use is, especially again after it sits all night, a little bit of a sputtering or a splattering when you turn that faucet on. So just be aware of that. Don't put your glass under it right away. Let it come to a full stream and then grab the water out of it. That's not a problem with your system. It's not something you broke. It's not air in the line. What that is a pretty intense reaction, especially early on, between the water and our minerals. And that reaction is what's improving the pH levels. It's what's creating the hydrogen reaction for the antioxidants, all of that. So you're just gonna get more of that with the pH side than you will with the calcium side. Calcium still does it, but it's a little bit more heavy on the minerals than it is on the pH and the antioxidants. So you're aware of both of those now. So anyway, should be easy to use, no problems. There should be a 2-minute install probably. And what you've done is take that really clean water from the Waterdrop, and now you've added that whole spectrum of minerals that we offer, the pH, the antioxidants, all those other benefits, and basically you have the best of all worlds combined. So hope this helps you. If you have questions or some specifics about your system, by all means, we're still going to talk to you. You can drop a comment here, you can send us an email, give us a phone call, whatever, and we'd be happy to talk. So hope this helps again, and we'll talk with you soon.